Next up is Perry Freeze from Austin, Texas. He's got his little girl with him, so he's going to make his way up here and get on the camera.
I'll get it for you.
Can you hold your son?
Yes, you don't mind.
All right. You can have it.
She has become very attached to the sign. Okay. So good afternoon. It's wonderful to see so many different people here this time around. I know I was here last year. I remember attending that rally and wondering what I could do to make sure that my voice was heard. And in a year's time, I've gone from being a person just on the periphery of this issue to someone who is very much dedicated to the cause. I founded my own small group with some friends of mine also going through the same issue, not just here in Texas, but also in Tennessee, Kentucky, Minnesota, and New York, as a matter of fact, and educating myself not just on the laws that govern the family courts here in Texas, but also in many of the states around our nation. Like some said earlier today, education is the first step towards any kind of positive change. We simply can't cry foul every time there's a problem without first understanding the complexities of that problem. And through all my research and many, many hours spent at the Tarleton Law Library, I have found that the problem is that fathers are somehow seen as less valuable when it comes to raising and educating their children. Sure, when it comes to the financial obligation and responsibility, the buck seems to literally stop at a father's wallet. But when it comes to things that matter, like spending time with your child or holding them, consoling them, letting them benefit from your life and experiences, Texas family courts seem to think that a father's contribution is immaterial. Now, I'm sure that there are many who will say that's not true, that there are more than one way for a person to be a parent. But to them, I would just say, come sit with me for a while at that library, and I will take you through the many, many court cases which show that fit parenting, the burden of proof is on the father, and that we do not get the same kind of rights or representation. Or how about we point to the fact that there are several of these judges in family courts that are actually appointed, and they're so brazen in their lack of respect for fathers that they don't even follow their own state's mandate, and they are known as pro-mom judges. And when I look at these things, I wonder, how did we get here? At what point was it suddenly decided that my contribution to my little girl's life and contribution to her life, health, and happiness could be relegated by an arbitrary amount of time for my week, which is only 48 hours, by the way, and also 20% from my paychecks every month? Who decided that as a man, the only things I could contribute to my child was just money and not any kind of bonding or enrichment, and that it could only be achieved in 48 hours' time? I only get to see her 2 days a week, and I miss her each and every day that I don't get to spend with her. I am here right now on one of my only 2 days off, which I actually had to give up the second one because we're so short-staffed, and because of that, here we are. I can't even afford to leave her at a daycare, not because it's about money, but it's because it's about the time. I have so little of it that I get to spend with her that I chose to bring her here with me today. She's only 2 years old, and I know she barely understands any of what's going on, but I would rather have her here with me right now than to be standing anywhere else. Now, a lot of times you hear the adage about cherish the time, because one moment they're bouncing on your knee and then the next moment they're asking for your car keys. It speaks about the passage of time and how suddenly you don't realize how fast they've grown up. Excuse me. But for those of us that don't get the opportunity to spend a whole lot of time with our children, we see those changes every single week. 1 week, they barely mastered walking, and then in the next week, they're running through your living room. 1 week, she can't hold a fork, and then in the next week, she's asking for seconds. 1 week, she can barely say dada, and then the next, she can tell me exactly what kind of juice she wants and why. These are precious moments, milestones in her growth and development that for some reason Texas courts have decided I am not privy to. Because my relationship ended with my child's mother, I am no longer allowed to see my daughter grow day to day, watch as she makes new friends, and be there to comfort her when she comes home and is sad, or read her favorite book to her each night before she goes to bed. You want to stand up, baby? Stand right here. Hold this for me. Thank you. But no, because I chose to end a relationship that no longer worked for my life and ambitions, I am told that I only get 48 hours a week and that I must pay 20% of my monthly income. When I began reading the Texas family law codes, and when anyone begins reading them, you will find an opening preface which speaks to the mandate to the family courts. The mandate is for the judges to rule in the best interests of the child. Now, I think that with such positive and yet vague language, we will find the possibility for mishaps in ruling exists. But one way to ensure that that doesn't happen is to make sure judges are truly hearing and understanding each and every case. We are not all the same, and our family needs are different, and painting all fathers with the same brush is never in the best interest of any child. There are plenty of men and women out there who are not fit to have custody of their children. There are rapists, pedophiles, perverts, murderers, drug dealers, just real criminals out there. Yet somehow Texas law has decided that they get the exact same amount of time and just parenting, basically, same rights and privileges and access to their children that I have. Same access that decorated veterans, police officers, doctors, and lawyers, and so forth in our country have. Now, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a cop, I'm not a lawyer, or a veteran. I am the son of a veteran, but more importantly, I am just a man who moved to this state about 4 years ago, looking for an opportunity to improve my life and my family. I've never been in any trouble with the police, never been arrested, never been pulled over so much for a speeding ticket, never had a parking ticket. Don't do drugs, I don't smoke, I do charity work on the weekends with my job. I've never raised a hand to my ex or my child. I've never in any way been a threat or a danger to anyone in my entire life. I live simply, humbly, as my grandfather taught me. He said that there's no reason for a good man to show off. I work hard every single day, not only to provide for my kid, but also to be a person she can be proud to call dad. When I stood here a year ago, I said that I had made a promise when she was first placed in my arms to love and protect her and to always be there to support her. The moment she was placed in my arms, she became my only care, my only concern. And now I stand here once again asking that our state government give me the opportunity to honor my promise and pass these bills that would make 50-50 parenting a reality for all of us. House Bill 453 and Representative James White are trying to make 50-50 parenting a reality here in Texas. Does the House bill fix all of our problems? No. If it's passed, will these rallies stop and will we all go away? I certainly don't plan to. But the bill is the first step in bringing the Texas family courts out of the 1950s and 60s and into the 21st century where it belongs. We're learning every day that family dynamics are changing and that the research everywhere shows that children do truly benefit from having a relationship with both parents equally. We need laws that stop assuming that one parent is better than the other. Oh, I think she turned us off. We need laws that stop assuming that one parent is better than the other, that one parent can always foot the bill, and that one parent is better at supervising and raising the child than the other. We need laws that do promote true co-parenting. And we need laws that promote both transparency in courtrooms and that say that both parents are on equal footing when they enter into those courtrooms. Both parents are very much important to the development of the child, and we need laws that finally start to say that. And so before I leave and take this one to our duck appointment down in Zilker Park, I ask that you all do lend your voice and support to James White and others like him looking to pass House Bill 453. I ask that you call your various reps in different areas and ask them to also support him and tell them of how much you enjoyed getting to know both of your parents when you were growing up, or how much you wish you had. To mothers out there going through this whole process, I encourage you all to stand up and proclaim what tremendously fantastic fathers, your husbands, boyfriends, ex-partners, whomever, are to your children. Do not let your pain or your pride rob your child of someone in their life who truly loves and supports them. As parents, one of the toughest lessons that we have to learn is to put aside our own pain, our hurt, and our pride, and do what is truly best for our children. Just because you fell out of love with someone, cheated on someone, or were cheated on, doesn't mean that you have a right to use your hurt and pain to rob your child of a fully enriched life. This is not about attacking women or mothers or anything like that. This is simply about everybody getting the opportunity to spend time with their children the way that they were meant to. We were given these rights and privileges the moment that our children were born, and all of a sudden we have a court system that feels they can arbitrarily take our rights away. What gives them that right and that power? We do when we are silent and we are complicit in those laws that they pass, instead of standing up there and saying that it is not right. That at 2 years old, my daughter should get to spend as much time with me as she does her mother or anybody else in our family. I ask that the courts put both parents on equal ground, equal footing, and let them learn to work together for their children. Just because I no longer live with the mother of my child doesn't mean that I care for my child any less, and it doesn't mean that I am incapable of raising her. I ask that the court stop making me a weakened father and pass House Bill 453 and let me get back to doing what I really want to do, which is raise my kid. That's all I have to say. We're now going to go feed some ducks.
All right.